Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray, and this is the Tom Crean Show. On today's show, we'll talk to Coach about the game of Derek Elston. Calbert Cheney will teach us how to shoot a jump shot. We'll put Calbert on the Knicks English Hut hot seat, and Joni Crean will give us a tour of Bloomington's Wonder Lab today on the Tom Crean Show. Coach, looking at that Northwestern game, the team really closed strong, shooting over 50% in the second half.
Well, I think we defended strong as well. That was the whole key to the game, where we were at defensively in the last 11, 12 minutes of the game, the way we defended John Cherna. And he had big numbers, but he didn't have them in the last 11, 12 minutes. And I think, again, in a game like that, you've got to continue to be locked into so many different things. And our guys were locked into how to defend the cuts, what we were switching on, what we weren't. Knowing that we wanted to keep their big three in the sense of John Cherna, Drew Crawford, and David Sobolewski. You can't let all three of them have a great game. And I think the job we did on Dave Sobolewski, as judged by the fact that next game he went off for 22 back home, said a lot about our defense. So the defense was strong, it was active, it was physical, and it helped us get some good shots offensively.
And you look at Cody Zeller, another game where he imposed his will, 23.7 rebounds.
And really just scratching the surface. I know that's an overused phrase, but it's really the truth with Cody. And there's so many things that he's going to continue to get better at. We've got to make sure he's catching the ball, and because so many good things happen when he has it, whether he's scoring, whether he's kicking it, whether he's drawing double teams and he's finding guys open shots. That's really, really important for our team, especially with a team like ours that likes to depend on the three-point shot as much as we do.
Taking on a team like Northwestern, it becomes a thinking man's game, and your team really played sound basketball.
Well, I think the bottom line is that there was a lot of changes in the game, and we had to keep making adjustments to the way that they were playing, and we had to make adjustments defensively and offensively. It's one thing to do that as a coach. It's another thing to have that absorbed by the players, and they're the ones that did a great job with that because that's where communication's got to just be tremendous. But they were well schooled on what Northwestern does. It's as hard a preparation as you ever come across, because the system is so hard to prepare for and the players are so good. So to me, our guys deserve a ton of credit for the way that they continued to persevere in the game and got better inside of the game.
Looking at the week ahead, North Carolina Central, Minnesota, what do you see out of those two games?
Well, North Carolina Central is really dangerous because it's really like getting ready for a first-round opponent in the tournament. And we moved this game because we were going to have 3 games in 3 weeks with the way the byes were set up. We didn't want to do that, so we moved it from December. First off, it gives us a chance to have an undefeated home season, or undefeated non-conference season, I should say, which would really be important and be a great feather in everybody's cap here. But bottom line, we're going to have to play really well. It's like playing a team when you go into the tournament where you may not know a lot about them, but they know a lot about you. And our job is to bridge that gap and our players to know everything they need to know in this game. Most teams are going to play early on, have a pro. Dominique Sutton is going to be that. They have another guy that's a special matchup that's right there. Ray Willis is like that. And they've got guys that can shoot the ball. And this team has got that. They're well coached. They're continuing to get better. I gave the players an example in our film session Monday, that they have one guy that had double figures against us last year that's back. He's playing about 6 minutes a game right now. That's how their team has continued to improve.
All right, speaking of a very good basketball player who can shoot the basketball, Calbert Cheney is going to teach us how to shoot a jump shot on our segment called This is Indiana.
Ranking 4th nationally with their three-point shooting percentage and 9th nationally with their field goal percentage, it's no secret that this year's IU basketball team has some of the sharpest shooters in the NCAA. This week, I hit the court with Calbert Cheney to see just how to get that perfect shot.
So today you're going to teach me how to shoot a jump shot. I don't know very much about basketball, but how do you think I'll do?
Well, I think you do pretty good. I mean, it's like in terms of becoming a good shooter, you have to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. And probably right now we're probably going to have about 5-10 minutes. But we'll see what we can do with you, though. We'll see what we can do.
After a bit of practice and coaching, I was ready to take on one of his harder shooting regimens.
And another drill that I used to do is called a 60-second drill. And what I would do is I had somebody time me, and I would throw the ball out, and I had to get my own rebound. So I would shoot, go get my own rebound. It has to be around 15 feet, no more than 15 feet. And I go as fast as I can for a minute. So that's something you would want to do or no?
I'll try it out.
60 seconds, anybody got a what? Oh, man.
It's a little workout right there.
My right knee's on fire right now. All right. All right.
So I know you did quite a lot better than me, but how do you think I did for my first?
5 is good.
5 is good?
You did a good job. 5 for your first time, that's great.
All right.
Did a wonderful job.
It's a little exercise there. My heart was kind of...
Well, my heart is definitely pounding right now.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
It's been a pleasure, Margot.
I really enjoyed it.
Take care. Thanks a lot.
We got to take a timeout, but when we come back, we'll talk about one of the nation's best recruiting classes on the Tom Crean Show. Welcome back, Coach. Fans all across the country are very excited about this recruiting class. We'll go through them one by one.
Sure.
Yogi Ferrell, the outstanding point guard out of Park Tudor High School, 26 McDonald's All-American to sign with IU.
Well, it's a great feeling. It's the second one for us in our time, and really, really proud of what he's done. He is a year-round winner. He wins in the summer, he wins in the winter. He's won a state championship. He's played for a state championship. They're getting ready to go into the tournament as we talk about this. And he just makes everybody around him better. I mean, he really does. He's got a charisma to him. He's got a passion for the game. He's highly skilled. He can shoot the ball at a high level. But he does things that are unique for his age and his vision of the court. And I'm biased, but I'm not alone in this, I don't think. I think he's the best point guard in the country.
Ron Patterson, huge wingspan, lockdown defender. What do you see out of him?
I see a tremendous upside. I mean, there's no question about that. He's got an edge. He's got a real edge to him. He's a little like Will Sheehy in that when they get into lockdown mode and when they get into just that basketball mindset that they're going to play at such a high level, that's what Ron's like. And there'll be a learning process for him like there will with everybody. But he's incredibly long. He can get down and guard. He can get to the basket. When he stays in his shot, when he follows through, when he's ready to shoot, he's an outstanding shooter. When he rushes the ball, when he shoots off balance, not so much. We won't have that at Indiana. We're going to get the good Ron with the straight ahead follow through, and the guy that gets at the rim and lives for offensive rebounds and deflections and steals. But I love his upside.
Red Auerbach said it's a height business, and Peter Jerkin's got it. And he's been a young man who's played very well this year.
There's no doubt about it, and it's been tough because the last 2 years have been really difficult for him with his injuries, and then he didn't get to play it all last summer. So the basketball world's kind of forgotten about him, but I think that once we get him on campus and he continues to build that strength, he's coming off some outstanding games and just continued to get better, and we're excited to have him. I think he's a guy that he changes the game because he can block shots, he can alter shots, but he can also really, really run the floor. So now you start getting to him to that 15-foot range and building it from there, and you start getting him in the post where he can turn and get to his jump hook. Now you got a guy that can really help our team.
Hunter Mosquero Perea has become a YouTube sensation, tremendous athlete.
I've not coached anybody that dunks like that finishes with authority like that. And the thing I like best about him is he's developing a little bit more of a face-up game. So it's not just the back to the basket. It's not just the transition and the offensive rebounds. So those are important. And that will get him high-level minutes for us next year because of the way he defends, the way he rebounds, and the enforcer mentality that he has. He's going to be a natural leader right away defensively because I got to believe if you're not playing as hard as him on the defensive end, he'll let you know about it. So we're really, really excited about him. The upside is tremendous.
A guy with a lot of versatility and skill, Jeremy Hollowell.
As high as he's ranked, he's still vastly underrated. There's no doubt about it. Every time I see him, I come away more impressed because he's well coached, as they all are. He plays with a quick twitch. He's got a burst. He can do things, and he's growing. He can do things that just surprise you with his ability to second and third efforts, with his shooting ability. the ability to just uncoil around the basket. And what I like about him is he's really, really taken a much stronger desire and intent to be a better defender this year.
All right, we're talking about great players of the future. Let's look at one from the past who's on the staff now. Calbert Cheney's on the hot seat.
Today on the hot seat, we're talking to Calbert Cheney. To the hot seat, we know your son Julian is quite the player. Can he outshoot you yet?
No, not even close. He's still got a long way to go, but he's getting better.
How does it feel to be back in Indiana on the coaching staff and not as a player?
I think it's an honor to come back and contribute to a place that has been so good to you or been good to me over the past 4 years when I was here, way back when. But it's very, very enjoyable. I really appreciate Tom, your dad, for giving me the opportunity to come back and contribute.
We hear your college roommates had an issue finding pots and pans. Why is that?
Well, every time I get something to eat, I take it up to my room and I just leave it up there. So that's not very, very nice. I can't believe they would bring that up. But yeah, you know, and then it's just one of those things, you know, adolescent.
What's on your iPod?
A little bit of everything. A little bit of, hip hop, R&B. I love rock. I like all that stuff. Matter of fact, I was talking to Jade Grossman, and I got a little heavy metal on there too. Got a little Def Leppard on there. He really likes heavy metal too, so we have something in common.
Who is the toughest player that you've played against?
Oh, without question, Michael Jordan. He's the best player that ever played the game, I think. Tremendous competitor. He's a great person as well. But yeah, he's definitely the toughest.
Where do you see this program going?
Oh, nowhere but up. Tom Crean and the rest of the coaching staff have done a wonderful job in turning this thing around the past 3.5, 4 years. I know it's been a tough time up until this point. But they've done a wonderful job, and especially with the players and with the recruiting. And I see it going nowhere but up.
We're going to take a timeout, but when we return, we'll profile power forward Derek Elston on the Tom Crean Show. Coach, now let's talk about a player that I feel has really blossomed this year, Derek Elston. He brings a lot to the table.
He does. He is a whirling dervish. I mean, he can do a lot of different things. He's skilled. He's one of our better shooters. When you have Jordan Hulls and Matt Roth on your team, that's a standard right there. Derek is in a ballpark of being one of the better shooters, not only in our team, but one of the better shooters I've coached. And when he gets his foot planted and when he goes straight up and doesn't fade, and it's really good. He uses the backboard well, and when he rebounds the ball for us, when he's moving, getting lost in the game a little bit, coming off screens, picking and popping, he's really good. He's had some big games for us, and I think he's going to be a real key. And I've told him this. I think he's going to be one of the biggest keys as we move forward the rest of the season and go into the tournament.
He's got an exceptionally quick release too.
He does. He's got to make sure that he's down low ready. I mean, sometimes I know this is coach speak, but he kind of catches the ball off the back foot. And when he does that, he's not nearly as good a shooter. When he's stepping into it, when he's planting that foot, when he's holding his follow through, that's when he's good. And we're very, very comfortable with him taking shots. We think he could do even more in the post. And at the same time, he's got to be even a better defender. He's got to really get into a lockdown mode, especially when he's guarding one of the better players on the other team.
Pretty strong kid too.
He is pretty strong. There's no question. And our players love him. I mean, he's one of those guys. He can laugh. He can laugh at himself. He can make them laugh. And he's a great kid to have around.
All right, that's a look at the game of Derek Elston. Now let's take a look at what's going on around campus.
It's a race against time as the people of Kenya seek out a solution that will change their way of life.
I live with this pandemic individual by individual by individual. The differences that I see are things done by individuals.
Health issues are overwhelming, and in Kenya, the spread of the AIDS virus is rampant.
Kenya's losing about 700 young people every day. It's a triple hit. It not only takes the youth away, but it leaves the children without parents, and it leaves the elderly without the support systems they counted on in their retirement.
Hope is buried deep beneath many challenges. Increasing unemployment, overcrowded hospitals, and limited access to education.
To fight this infection, we need 3 drugs. If you take one drug, the virus will win. If you take 2 drugs, the virus will win. You have to take 3 drugs, and then you will win.
Researchers at the Indiana University School of Medicine have a deep understanding of debilitating diseases like AIDS. The school's doctors offer to help their Kenyan hosts establish a new clinic, one that blends the understanding of Kenyan culture with the power of advanced medicine. Fully established, the Moi Clinic treats thousands of HIV-positive patients every year.
The magic bullet would be a vaccine that would protect someone from infection. We don't have that. But if we find out who's positive, we're also going to find out who's negative. It gives us prevention opportunities that we've never dreamed of. I believe this holds the secret of bringing this pandemic to its knees.
This is where humanity began. Will it also be the place where it ends? Doctors see a promising road ahead. Their efforts may create a new destiny for Kenya.
When we come back, Joni Crean will give us a tour of one of her favorite spots in Bloomington on The Tom Crean Show. Welcome back to The Tom Crean Show. Now Joni Crean and her daughter Ainsley are going to give us a tour of the Wonder Lab.
Welcome to Bloomington's Hands-On Science Center, an award-winning Wonder Lab, the Crean's favorite stop in Bloomington. And the great thing about Wonder Lab is it suits kids from all ages. So we bring toddlers, we bring teenagers, we bring our son who's in middle school, and it suits everybody's ages.
People's favorite things are the grapevine climber, where you can climb 2 stories in the museum, the bubblarium, which has a whole bunch of ways to manipulate bubbles, everyone's favorite, and our live animals, of course. Who doesn't like to get up close and personal with live animals? Wonder Labs surprises people to know that they can rent the whole facility for a private party, a reception, a wedding, anything you can think of. We also do offer special themed, science-themed birthday parties, and we have a gift store with very unique items in there, so you can take science home with you.
Tom and I were very blessed to be able to be the co-chairs for the Wonder Lab for their Science Night Out. And it's a wonderful opportunity to raise money for a fantastic place that we definitely need in Bloomington.
Now we got to go to commercial, but when we come back, we'll wrap things up with our Ask Coach Crean segment on The Tom Crean Show. All right, as we always do, we wrap it up with the Ask Coach Crean segment. We take a question off of our Facebook page at Indiana University Athletics. Question this week comes from Ben from Zionsville. Coach, what does it mean for the Big Ten tournament to be in Indianapolis, and can this be a home court advantage? And how good is that city at hosting events?
Well, first off, the city is fantastic at hosting events. I think everybody saw that in the Super Bowl. I mean, you've got to find somebody that really doesn't enjoy life to find a problem with anything Indianapolis does when it comes to sporting events. So I think it's great. I think they run it extremely well. The hotels are excellent. The restaurants. I think everybody has a good time. I think everybody would have an even better time if we can go to that tournament and win for a while, or win the whole thing, because then I think we just see it take a whole other level. So can it be a home court advantage? Absolutely. Is it a great place to play? Without a doubt. And I hope our guys understand the opportunity we're going to have when we get there.
People know the power of Indiana basketball nationwide, but Indianapolis is truly an IU town.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I'm glad you said it. You know, I think so. And I think those that aren't are always fascinated by what we're doing. So I think that's really, really a special part. But Indianapolis, the surrounding community, it's a fantastic place to be around.
All right, that wraps up this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us.